Okay, so as we said, we're gonna after this lesson, you're going to be able to write algebraic expressions when given a phrase, and then you're going to take phrases and rewrite them as algebraic expressions. Shh. So let's do vocabulary first. Variable. One of my students used to define it, my algebra student, she said variables vary. Okay, a variable is a letter that represents a number. And a lot of people get confused by variables because they want it to have a value. But if we use the variable a, how much is a? It's just a. So you just write the a and go on with your life. Who is out in the hall that y'all looking at? Clara. Because it's hot and I don't want. No, she's gone. Clara, get to class. A letter that represents a number. Okay, that should be a period instead of a comma. Now, the other part of this, I'm recording. Are you're not writing? You need to be writing. Write what I'm writing. Didn't I just say we're gonna use these notes for the next 3 or 4 lessons? See, if you don't write down the stuff that I'm telling you today, when we get ready to do the thing, you're gonna say, "What does increase mean? Do I add or subtract?" I'm not gonna answer you. I'm gonna ask you where are your notes. That's what I'm gonna say. Where are your notes? Okay, so a variable is a letter that represents a number, and I forgot to go over the bell ringer. Let me do that real quick before we finish this. Let's go over the bell ring. What did you get for this one? Yes, for this first one, what'd you get? 4. Okay. Anybody else got anything else? Did anybody get 580? Okay, because what did you do first? This. Okay, and then you do the multiplication. And so that would be 4. Now, Liam asked me about this G. He said, did you mean PEMDAS? What did I say the G stood for? Grouping symbols, right? Because parentheses can be used for multiplication. So we're moving away from saying PEMDAS because sometimes when a parenthesis is there for multiplication, students want to do that first and it'll give you the wrong answer. In this lesson, we're going to move to parentheses for multiplication. Now here, what did you get for this one? 9. Okay. So you do that first, divide it by 3. And 3 to the third power, is it 9 or is it 27? And it's 27 because 3 to the third power, if you weren't here for this lesson, is 3 times 3 times 3. You might want to write that down. Okay, and this one, did you get, let me see, what's another 14? Did you get 4 or did you get 22? Okay, so you do the multiplication first. Why didn't you just subtract 24 minus 8? Why didn't you just say 24 minus 8 and then divide that by 4? Because the minus came first. Why did you do the division first? Somebody answer. The multiplication came first. Did the multiplication come first because the M is first? Why did you? No, somebody said no. Why? Left to right. Left to right. Very good. So we do multiplication and division from left to right. So we got to do the division before we do the subtraction. What about this one? Did you get 0 or 14? Okay. Okay, so what do we do first? The multiplication. Yeah, now if you do this, 14 minus 7 is 7 times 2, you're going to get 14. And I'll know exactly what you did wrong. Okay, we're going to turn these in at the end when we turn in our other work. Now let's go back to this. So variable is a letter that represents a number. And I also want you to write this. Does not have a value until you assign it one. until you assign one. We will not do that in this lesson. We'll do this in not the next lesson, but the lesson after that. Now, we did numeric expressions the other day. A numeric expression contains numbers and operations. Let's do that one first, and then I'll go back to algebraic. Contains numbers and operations. Operations: plus, minus, divide, multiply. An example of a numeric expression would be 3 plus 5. So if someone asks you to write a numeric expression, they don't want you to add those and put 8. They want you to write 3 plus 5. 8 minus 7. 14, we're on numeric expressions. 14 divided by 2. These are numeric because they don't have numbers. 3 times 5. That's multiplication. And I can do, all of those are numeric expressions because they have numbers and operations. There is no equal sign. We don't want you to evaluate those. Now, algebraic expressions contain variables, numbers, and operations. Our favorite variable is x, so we're going to move away from using the x for multiplication. So if we have x plus 5, that is an algebraic expression because it has a variable, it has an operation. This one also contains a number. It doesn't have to contain a number. I can do this. A number by itself is what I mean. I'm going to tell you what these numbers in front of the variables are called tomorrow. No, Thursday. This is an algebraic expression. I could have z minus 7. That's an algebraic expression. Let me show you one that might throw you. You might say that's just a 3 and a d. That is actually multiplication. That's a new way to represent multiplication. This means, so just write it by itself. That means 3 times d. So we're getting into algebra. You already have done algebraic thinking. And actually, this class on ACAP and on what's that we do? iReady. This class, take your headphones off. This class, and don't play your Bluetooth speaker anymore because I'm gonna call your parents and tell them not to check your book bag. But yeah, last week. I'm just reminding you in case you lose your mind again. So this class ranked pretty high on iReady and algebraic thinking, so I know you won't have any problem. Equations. We're not going to do equations in this lesson. We'll do that when we get to equations. We have a lesson on equations. Contains equal sign. Now, when we do stuff like equations, those of you who I think might be able to do accelerated 7 next year, I'm going to give you 2-step. We have to do 1 step in 6th grade, but I'm going to do a separate lesson and do 2-step with you all. It won't be a problem. Okay? Now, as you read expressions, so you're going to have a word phrase that's going to give you an expression. The first thing you need to do is determine which operation is involved. What do I mean by operations? I mean addition. And if you need me to slow down, Charity, you can just, if you ever need me to slow down, you can just say slow down. The rest of them should know that, right? To just say slow down in a respectful way. Okay, because y'all know I'm a little off. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And with addition, there's only one way we really show addition, and that's with a plus sign. I don't know of anything else. Subtraction, we do the minus sign. So that's our plus and that's our minus. Now multiplication, I'm going to do something called bridge. So up until now, you have done that for multiplication. Now, in other countries, they still really use that in advanced classes. They just do multiplication like that, and then an actual X is written like that. So you'll know if it's straight, it's multiplication. If it's like that, it is an X. But we don't do that. We just stopped using it. So for like seventh grade, you're not going to do that for multiplication. And actually, in here, we're going to stop. I won't mark it wrong because you're still used to that. This is multiplication. When you have a coefficient in front of a variable, that's what that number is called. We're going to go more into that tomorrow. Yes? Yes, yes. I'm going to show you that. And then we use parentheses for multiplication. That's why we moved from saying PEMDAS to GEMDAS. Because I think up here I did it. Do you see up here in the numeric expression? I did that. That's multiplication. If you want to remember that, just write it right below it. And little stuff I tell you about note taking, this is what I do when I take notes. So in case I forget that, I have it in my notes that is multiplication. So we're going to show it like that. And then, it's funny on that test I gave y'all that had that dot. I had actually last year I taught this lesson before that lesson. So I didn't have to explain the dot, but I remembered. I said, I need to change the test because you don't know what the dot is. And a dot. So we're going to use a dot for multiplication. So when we have a variable and we're trying to multiply a variable, we don't need any of these symbols at all. You just put like if I want to multiply G times 3, I just put the 3 in front of the G. That is multiplication. Okay? Like 4x, that's multiplication. 4 times x, but I'm not going to do that right now because that'll confuse you. Division. So we've been doing this. This is still fine. But when we're writing expressions, we normally, like if I wanted to do 3 divided by g, I would do it that way. Or I could use a slash. So that's also multiplication. We're not going to use that for multiplication in this lesson because you're already dealing with word expressions. And then to think about which one you should put under the house, and students always get that confused. And plus, that's just not the way you write expressions. Give me a good question. Yes. Which one of all of them would be the best one to use? Okay, like if I'm writing expressions, when I'm doing multiplication of a number, and I do this. But if I'm just doing 3 times 5, I'm more likely to use parentheses. The dot is fine also. If I'm doing division, I'm going to do this one. I never really use that symbol unless I'm teaching division. But if I'm writing it in an expression, I'm going to do this one or this one. Okay. Now, if you do this, am I going to mark it wrong? No. Because we're bridging. Did I tell you about my stepson and subtraction? Okay. No. Let me pause because this is bridge. So now we're going to move away from using this for multiplication, and we're going to move away from using this symbol. But if you forget, Use that symbol. Okay? I don't want you to sit there and trip because you can't remember how I said do division and multiplication. Are we good? Give me a good question. That was a good question. Thank you. Give me another good question that somebody might have. Do you know what one of my students asked me last block? He said, when will we use this in real life? Okay. So what's the latest Xbox? It's the Xbox what?
Series X.
Series X. Okay, how much does it cost? About 500. Okay, what kind of little work do y'all do?
I want to work at.
How much do you get for chores? I mean, what do you make right now? Anybody get $10 a week for doing chores or allowance? What do you get? What do you get? Let's go with yours. What do you get a week? Okay, shh. Okay, so Fenimore gets $25 a week for whatever, allowance, chores, whatever. The Xbox X series, is that what you said? Costs the super whammy dammy bammy costs $500. He gets 25 a week. So suppose he has to buy it himself. So what does he need to figure out? Somebody said how long? Okay, so how long is it going to take him to afford the Xbox Super Duper? How would you figure that out? By doing what? Divide 500 by 25? And that will give you the number of weeks? So if you were going to write it as an algebraic equation, 25 times the number of weeks equals $500. And to solve that, you would divide both sides by 25. So that's how you would use it in life. Algebra is finding the unknown. So whether you write an equation or you think about it, that's algebraic thinking. When somebody said, well, he has to figure out how long it's going to take him, that's algebraic thinking. That's real life. So that's how you would use it in real life. Okay?
Or if he was working really hard to get it, he could just
okay, we're going with the 25. We're not going to go with the what ifs. All right. So now for this part, and I promise you, if you've never written another note in this class, you need to write this down because you're going to need it for like the next few lessons. Okay? Give me some other words that mean addition. I'm going to give you 3. Add, plus, okay? Sum. Give me some more. Put together. That's a good one. Give me another one. Uh-huh. Total, yes. Good one. Uh-huh. Combined. Sasha? In all? Oh, very good. Did y'all get the notes from the last class? Mr. Herring, you need to be writing these down. Because I promise you, if you don't write these down, you're going to be lost. And there are some things back there. You see those on the wall back there? They have some words you can use if you can see it from there. Somebody that's back there near it, give me a word. Join. Join. Both. Give me something else. What about increase?
increase.
Give me some more off of there. We got in all. What about this one?
We got them all.
More than.
Like, what was the last one? Increase more than.
Larger than. Larger. Bigger than. Okay, I got join, more, in all, increase, both, more than. Okay. And they're back there on those things back there if you think of any more. Or... Okay, go ahead. Or hey, y'all are not writing anything down. And when you ask me for help, Y'all notice the first thing I do is ask you for your notes. I do that on purpose. If you don't have any notes, I go on and help somebody else who took the time to write notes. Because if you don't write your notes, you didn't try to learn it, and you do you, boo. I mean, do you? But if you take the time to write notes, that means you tried, so I need to help you. If you don't write it down, I'm assuming you already know it. And yes, I'm recording this so your parents can know what you're doing over there. Shh. So if I ask you for your notes, you ask me for help, I'm going to ask you for these. Okay, subtraction is minus, difference, and subtract. Let me do these first. Okay, write those three down. Okay, someone said less. Yes, Sequoia. Huh? Less than. Alan. I mean, you read them off. Let me get these first. Take away. Very good. I just talked about that, right? Sasha. Ooh, remain. Yeah. Remained or leftover. I saw somebody over here. Somebody over here had their hand up. Over here. And then you said fewer. Uh-huh. Negative. Decrease. Smaller than. Smaller or smaller than. Anybody else? I think we got to remain. Left. That's the same as remain. Any others? Okay. Okay. Are we still writing? Okay. I'll pause for a minute while we're still writing. All right, let's go. Let's go with multiplication. I cannot say that word fast. So I'm going to give the few. Okay, product and multiply. I'm going to give the common ones. Times. All right, let's hit me with them. Okay, come on. Somebody tell me. Shh. Yes, Sasha? By. And it's funny you should say that because in Spanish, by is the word that they use for multiply. So if I say 3 times 4, it's going to be tres por cuatro. So they use the word by. Yeah. Okay, come on, somebody. Yes. Multiplication. Yes. Yes. Double. Very good. Double means multiply by what? 2. And so we can also say twice. That's the same as multiply by 2. Yes. Table. Times table. Okay. What about triple? Triple means multiply by how many? By what? If I say triple something, you're going to multiply by 3. What about this one? Quadruple. Okay. Not if I spell it wrong. Quadruple. Yeah, 4. Multiply by 4. And look, if you don't know that already, like quadruple, you're going to do times 4. We don't really go higher than quadruple in this lesson. What about thrice? Mm-hmm. Here's another one. Repeat.
What is price?
What is what?
Price.
Thrice.
Thrice.
That's THRICE. That's 3 times. Same as triple. Uh-huh. Any other words? Okay, division. So divide or divide by. And another word, quotient. Quotient means divide. Give me some more. It wouldn't be takeaway.
Did we do equal groups?
Yes, equal groups is division. To do something in equal groups, you have to divide it into equal. Yes. Equivalent or equivalent groups or equivalent sections. Yeah. No, it wouldn't be decrease. Decrease is subtraction. What about half? Half means what? Divide by 2. Okay. If you don't know that, write it next to it. Yes, ma'am. Parts. Yeah. Separate. Wait a minute. Separate. Goes into. Very good. And I use goes into a lot. Yes. Factors, that would be multiplication. But you can divide to find factors. Each. Split. All of those. And as you go through this lesson and through the assignments, there's going to be a few more words that you didn't think of. Add them to this list. I'm telling you, that's going to save you on the test because I allow you to use notes on your test. I had the very first year I taught, and I had the privilege of teaching this child in 8th grade also. She had every note that I passed out. So we got every foldable, every guided note, and she had them in order. Yes. Okay, so now let's do some examples. Go ahead and close that door. Let's do some examples of numeric and algebraic expressions. Oh, we're about to go to lunch in 1 minute. Okay, don't get up yet. When we come back, we're going to finish this lesson. Okay, so yeah, it's good. So numeric expression, 34 divided by 2. So we can write it like this, or we can write it like this. I prefer this way. And then you can do this. Yeah, go ahead. Okay. 35 increased by 4. So which operation are we doing for increased by? Addition. So 35 increased by 4 is 35 plus 4. If you write 39, that's wrong. We want the expression, not for you to evaluate the expression. Okay? The product of 30 and 9. Shh. Product is which operation? Huh? Multiplication. Now, this is how I like to write mine with parentheses. Or you could do this. And if you're still on the X, I'm not going to mark it wrong, but I would prefer one of these two. Okay? Now, get my phone. Shh. Hey, Alan, close the, not Alan. Close the door. Somebody. Okay, now. 8 fewer than 27. When we see the word than, we want to kind of underline it because it means, yes, what was that?
She said to call Miss Hunter.
Call Miss who? Honey. Okay. Um, Than means reverse. So what's behind the than comes first. Than tells us to reverse the numbers. So always like triple underline it or highlight it if you want to remind yourself to reverse. I have a TikTok up. Than means reverse. Than means reverse. When I say than, you say reverse. So it's than means reverse. Than means reverse. When I say than, you say reverse. Than reverse. Than. Give me a beat. Than means reverse. Come on.
Oh, I found him on 48. That's good. I found him. I was watching.
Right. Than means reverse. Than means reverse. If I say than, you say reverse. Than means reverse. Than means reverse. When I say than, you say reverse. Than. Okay? So whenever we see the word than, it means reverse. So this says 8 fewer than 27. The 27 comes first. So this is minus 8. Because fewer than means I subtract. So when I see than, I put what's behind than, I put that first. All right? Now, a number y minus 7. Well, we know minus is just that. Okay? The quotient of 3 and a number z. What operation is quotient? Division. So I can do 3 divided by z, but I prefer this one. Because as we get into algebraic equations, that's how it's going to look. Now 14 more than a number x. So we got than, and than means what? Reverse. So what comes first? X. So it's going to be x plus 14 because it says more than. Let me give you let's say triple a number q. Okay, triple means what?
3.
Multiply by 3, right? So you can put this like this, but since we're in the 6th grade, the way we're going to write it now is this. Both of those mean the same thing. Let me remove that and put a dot. So you can write it like this. Remember, we're moving away from the x for multiplication. If you put the x, I'm not going to mark it wrong, but I'm just going to look at you crazy. All right, but it's not going to be wrong because study is multiplication. But I'd rather you write it like this. No, this one, the second one, the one I put the box around. This means the same thing. 3 dot q means 3 times q. Stop. Shh, means 3 times q. This also means 3 times q. So this is also multiplication. Okay? All right. So now I'm going to pass out a worksheet, and I'm going to end this recording.